Welcome to the Porn Stars Are People podcast. I'm here with Catherine Tayler.
Hello.
Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate you.
You're welcome.
What no one has seen so far was that 1 second before we started, you asked to switch sides so that we could do some YouTube content and so that you could have your good side on camera.
Yes.
Which is really important to women. You guys have a side. You always have a side.
Oh, yeah. All my selfies are this side.
Yeah.
Tattoos this side to make sure I remember which side.
I haven't figured out. You put the tattoos on so that you could remember which side's your good side?
Yeah.
That's
pretty
hilarious.
much, yes. That's why it got there in the beginning.
I think dudes, we don't take the time to figure out what our side is, so we just take shitty selfies. So that's all I have. I have every picture of me promoting this podcast is same dumb, goofy smile, and whoever I'm interviewing, guy or they look incredible. And it's just me, just doofed up, just like, So I'm glad we get your
The
side.
first picture I seen of you was the one like this.
Was with my eyes rolled back? Oh,
Yeah.
you saw that? Yeah,
What I
can't remember what was that. I was getting on the plane. I rolled my eyes back and I made a little Snapchat video, and then I turned it to what do they call it? A boomerang. And then I realized it is so applicable to so many things. You can just be like, "Mom's talking." It's all that. So it's totally useful. It's gonna be my new meme, just for everything. So we're here in where are we? We're in Edison, New Jersey.
Yes.
You're about to do Exotica.
Yes.
You've been there, you said, like 7-8 years?
Since 2011 was my first time.
Okay.
I've been every year.
So that's 6 years. That's great. So this is my first go around. I'm gonna go figure out what this whole thing is about. What's the takeaway if somebody wants to come to one of these conventions outside of the industry? What do they expect?
I fucking know what people expect. I really do, but they don't get what they expect. But when they come, they get to see their stars and meet them.
Yeah.
And that makes a lot of people feel absolutely wonderful that they got to touch and meet their star.
Yeah.
And the girls are pretty good and interact, and they just have a crazy fun time.
It's an interesting thing, and I've tried to hold this thought that your industry and my industry are similar in a lot of ways, but when I get off stage, there's this little expectation for you to talk to the crowd, and it took me a long time to figure out that, like, when you do that, when somebody has to buy you a drink, and I'll be like, "Oh, I don't drink," but I realize they're not buying the drink for them. They're buying it, they're not buying it for me. They're buying it for them. They're buying it so that they can hang out, have that conversation, and like feel like a part of whatever they just saw. They connected with you somehow on stage. So I'm wondering how that plays itself out for what you do, like, because it's a whole different thing. Because there's no interaction with the fan base, so there's this voyeuristic thing, and they show up. Do they feel like they know you? Is there like this thing?
For me, I'm a cam girl, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
I interact with my fans, so when they come, it's like super cool that they got to meet who they've been friends with.
Yeah.
Literally friends with
for
8 years, so they feel pretty good about that.
So that's cool. So yeah, that's a whole other level. That's what we've been talking about, like this next level of entertainment where there is this like almost one-on-one interaction with people, and it's sort of, I don't know, it's almost making it so that porn is better than sex. Like that's kind of where we're at. Like there's certain levels.
I want to plead the fifth on that, but
okay,
I have to agree with you.
It's just that, the level that they're coming out with of specificness and being able to cater to somebody's needs. I can't remember we were having this conversation. I was out in St. Petersburg and Tampa, and that's the fetish capital of the world. And so the big conversation there was that people have specific wants and needs. Maybe they don't ask for them in person, but they can do it through this portal, and somehow that allows them to quench the desires that they otherwise wouldn't get in real life. So there's something, something you guys are tapping into. So what else? Okay, so what else you do besides being in Edison? You're basically within the tri-state area, New York City area. Are you going to actually use this time to go do anything fun in New York? Do you have that? You're shaking your head.
I'm shaking my head because we actually drove from Seattle.
You drove? No shit.
We drove. It took us almost 4 days to get here. And so I think when we go back, we're just not going to stop anywhere.
Yeah.
One place in particular. We're just going to see everything.
Yeah. So you just drove. Did you just drive? So 4 days. Now I drove last year around this time. I drove to Portland, and I think we stopped once in Champaign, but basically we were doing 18-hour days, just crushing mileage. So 4 days. So 4 days took you to come, which is pretty. That's a hustle. So where'd you stop in the four times?
We stopped in Billings, Montana.
Okay.
I think we stopped somewhere in South Dakota.
Yeah.
And then Mercer, Wisconsin.
No shit. So you went to like all these sort of like
11 states.
Yeah, but Montana, South Dakota, Wisconsin are very not barren, but there's more nature than there is people in those places. So that's a beautiful chunk of drive.
Yeah.
Because you can go from Seattle, you can go the route where I think you come down, you go through like Utah, and then I guess it's the same thing, but you could go through the Colorado and that kind of thing. So all of that stuff is pretty. But dude, I hit so many snowstorms, crazy shit, because I did it in December.
We worried about that, but we only got rain for about 10 hours of the whole trip. So it was pretty amazing.
That's awesome. So that's cool. So why would you drive as opposed to fly on this particular situation?
Because I just moved to Seattle.
Yeah.
And I loved to drive, and when I lived in Canada, I drove everywhere. So I was like, I want to drive to Jersey this year.
Oh fuck it, yeah. Oh, so this is the first time you've driven cross country. Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah, I love it. I don't know why. The flying for me, it's like if you're going anywhere within 10 hours, you may as well drive.
Yeah.
Because it's good. Messing with the flight, you're going to get there 3 hours early. You're going through security. You come down. You got to get somebody to pick you up at the airport. You're messing with 5-6 hours anyway.
Yeah.
You're not gaining any time by flying in most occasions. Now, cross-country, flying helps a little bit, but...
I'm a horrible flyer, too.
Yeah?
I'm the one who's shaking white-knuckled with the barf bag.
Oh, no shit. Have you puked on a flight?
I did one time, but I think it was more because I was hungover. And I was leaving an Exotica at that time.
Yeah.
And a doctor happened to be sitting next to me, and she handed me the bag.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say, do you think she was a doctor, or do you think she was just some creepy dude that was like, I'm a doctor?
No.
That's funny. Wow, yeah, and I hate making an announcement, because then the next thing that happens in your life is life catches up with you. But I've never puked in public.
Really?
I've only ever puked I puked once on the sidewalk in New York City, and I learned a valuable lesson, which is if you're going to puke on the street, you should either you stand on the curb or you got to puke onto a different surface.
Yes.
Because it just explodes under your shoes.
Yes, you might as well have puked all over yourself.
You did. I mean, and you did. So it was the second. It was like in 12 years I've probably eaten McDonald's twice. One of the times got wildly sick. It was right before a show too. I was just dead ass broke. It was like 12 years ago, and I was like, I gotta get a Big Mac. And when you put that into your body and you haven't had it in there for 10 years, it's an issue. And then the other time I got the healthy option at McDonald's, and I excused myself from work, and I'm on my way home. I'm like a block from my house. I'm gonna make it home to puke in my trash can, or into my toilet rather. And then I get right on the corner, and it's not happening, and I just shoes. Everything
in New York.
Yeah, on a corner in Brooklyn, in New York City. Yeah, it was rough. It was like 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. So there was like no witnesses. But
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it didn't make me feel any better. Puking on an airplane though, I don't know if I can handle that.
Oh, it was hard.
I don't know what.
Try silently puking.
Because you didn't want to disturb anybody.
Yes.
You were like respectfully puking. Well, I've never really. I'm never invited into the bathroom when my girl is puking, and at any point in my life, I've come to think of it, like whenever I've always had girlfriends that wanted to get me drunk and basically got me to puke, and then like stood there and like watched me. And I have this weird thing when I get drunk and puke, I don't puke in the toilet, I puke in the bathtub for some reason, or the sink. I don't know why. It's very gross. But so I'm wondering, do girls puke like they sneeze? They unconditionally try to make it like polite and quiet.
When I puked, I yell, "Hello, come here." If he doesn't hear, I'm like, instead of the.
Yeah. So when you're home and with your husband, you're a drama queen about it.
Fuck
but if
yeah.
you're in public, you're gonna be a lady about it.
Yes.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's I've heard various stories of people puke in the bag and then just like fold it back up and then just casually put it away as if they were like a professional puker on planes.
Oh God, no! I shove it under my shirt and go in the bathroom.
You put the
bag.
You put the bag under your shirt so nobody would see
Yeah,
it.
I don't want people to see it.
And then you brought it in the bathroom, and then what'd you do? Then you
Just throw it in the garbage.
okay. I was gonna say, you go through the whole part. You dump it, you rinse it out, you bring it back.
Oh fuck no! I'm sick. I'm not thinking about it.
Yeah. No. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to rinse it, put it back, so that the next person has your wet ass bag. No, that's not the goal. And they don't check the planes well enough that I think they would find. I think if you left a barf bag, I think
You'd leave it for the next one.
no, I'm not saying I would, but I'm saying I think it's probably happened where somebody put it in the thing and they don't get to it, and the next guy has the benefit.
It's a fetish.
Is it?
To see somebody else's puke is
What?
a fetish.
This is what we were talking about the other day, that everything basically is a fetish.
Yes.
There's something about, and I think it's something. You're from Canada, so maybe you could speak to this a little bit. I think it has something to do with how we approach everything in this country. I was talking with somebody about how we approach death wrong. I think we approach sex wrong. Everything is bottled up. And so then because of that, like the effects are this just opening of doors that I think otherwise would stay shut.
Yes.
Is it now in Canada?
Yeah.
I didn't grow up there. I don't know what censorship was like on television. So in Canada, is it the same general attitude about everything? Everything kind of stays behind closed doors?
To an extent, yeah. Yeah. I think they're a little bit more laid back, but not as open as they are here.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. But behind closed doors.
So do you find there's a bigger fetish market in Canada versus the US or same?
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, because you're on the internet, and that's kind of where the bread and butter comes from. Do you find that there is is there a pocket of the world that like is your fan base that you just wouldn't have figured would have been your like?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where is that?
I mostly get men from India.
Interesting. Okay.
And I get lots from France.
Okay.
Which is funny because my husband's from France.
Yeah.
And I didn't meet him in France.
Okay.
So now I got all these French dudes coming, and England.
Interesting. Okay.
And they're the kinkiest in England.
I could see, and I could totally see, and that's funny because those are three really powerful, really sexy accents.
Yes.
So, and accents don't play out. You can't add the accent in when you're typing, so you don't get to be as sexy if you're a French. I guess if you're a French guy, sometimes you speak in a different a way, the way you put your words together, so you can almost maybe see the accent and the way they're typing. But I could totally see India being India. Yeah.
Oh.
Just because of, and it's that thing. We all want what we can't have, and we all crave what's not around us, right? It's like every person that I know that has curly hair wants straight hair. Every person with straight hair wants curly hair.
I'm guilty. I need it straight. I have curly hair, but I will spend 3 hours curling my hair.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Why?
It's a girl thing.
I think it's an everybody thing. We all just we want. I talk about this on stage a little bit when I try to. Crowds will tighten up when I talk about sex sometimes, and so I got a couple of mechanisms to get them out of it. But I got this one intro to one of my jokes is about how every guy wants to fuck an amputee and a midget. I don't know why.
I've seen this.
We just all want to fuck. We want to fuck all of the categories. We want to have all of the things.
I got anal down. I got big boobs down. Now I got to get to blowjobs. It's like a checklist.
Yeah, it is a weird. It's a weird thing, and it really does, especially when you're first coming into your own. I found that when I was in my 20s in New York, and I didn't really, I had very few partners, and I had the perfect number of I had the number of partners where if somebody would ask you, so it was like in that vicinity. It was like where somebody would ask you, because this is a big thing for girls, is they'll ask you, like girls, there's civilian girls will like ask you how many girls you've been with, and in my 20s I would fall for it every time, and I had the numbers that were perfect that you say, and they're like, oh, and they like would feel comfortable with that. Now I'm like an old man, and I just like, it's like, you don't talk about it. You didn't talk about what happened in the 80s. So, but but there becomes this point where as a dude you're just like, and you haven't found the person, and so you just start going off. All right, I don't know, what's the checklist? I've never been with this kind of girl.
Yep.
It's this weird thing, and I think it plays out. I think it plays out in porn too, aggressively.
Very much so.
Because we just get to. I mean, we get to pick. It's like Chipotle. We get to pick our toppings.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The menu.
Yeah. So. That's an interesting little world that we've created. Because it's funny. Because that's how every restaurant is now too. You literally, it's just like you pick the main thing and then you go down the list and you just keep adding shit on. That's crazy. The So what else? Okay, so you're gonna drive back. You're trying to figure out whether or not you're gonna plan it and do some sightseeing or.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I want to see the mountain with the faces.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, that's because that's the route you went.
Sorry, everybody. I don't know this.
Rushmore. It's called Mount Rushmore. And when this is the problem with the internet now is that every time you know what the thing is, you know what Mount Rushmore is, but every time you need the word now,
you can't spit it out.
You can't access it.
You just Google the mountain with the four
right,
faces.
and then you just that's my favorite new thing is to Google when I can't figure out what it is, but I have enough information to know where he is in my brain. I'll put all that stuff into Google and see if they can figure it out. So I had yesterday. I couldn't think of the name of a DC rapper who kind of it like does a funk thing, who was on this one cypher with this other rapper, and I just put all of it into Google and I just let them figure it out, and they figured out it was Anderson .Paak. But you just put the mountain of the faces, and I swear to God, Mount Rushmore will come up.
Yes.
For sure.
For sure.
For sure. I think you should see it. I think you were right there. It's in South Dakota, right?
It was an hour south of where we were at the time.
Yeah.
And that day, I think, was the 14-hour drive.
Yeah, so you're like, I
So
can't
we
add
couldn't.
shit. Yeah.
But if on the way back I can see it,
Yeah.
I would absolutely love it.
I think you should. I've never seen it. I've never seen it either. That's the one area of the country that I haven't somehow hit. I've hit up the Midwest heavily. I've hit up the Pacific Northwest heavily. But in that middle northish chunk, pretty much from Michigan through like Idaho.
Yeah.
I've been through, but haven't done the due diligence on either doing comedy to find out what kind of humans are there, or seeing the sights. It's a weird in my head, and I think this is a northeastern thing. I think we just think that's just all nothing.
Yeah.
That's just
even
all
on
woods.
the West Coast, they think, "Oh, you're from nowhere."
Yeah, there's nothing there. There's
Yeah.
nothing there. Yeah, but so Seattle's an interesting vibe. Seattle is. I don't know. What do they say? It's like the original Portland. Would you say?
Like hipster? It's very hipster.
It's got the like don't litter, I own a bicycle thing.
Healthy living.
Yeah.
If you eat a Big Mac, you're gonna get frowned on.
Right. And everybody, it's like that vibe. I think it's a bunch of people that think that they know, and then I think the more that you like delve into those conversations, you realize they don't know any more than anybody else.
Exactly.
The older I get, the more I realize everybody's full of shit. Me, you, everybody. All the people that I met on the way up here. Everybody's full of shit,
Yeah,
and we're all just trying to.
You're like, you're full of shit.
We're all just trying to figure it out.
Look, you don't even have to say the words anymore. It's you're full of shit. Look.
And we all have to, but we all have to pretend like we know. We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. You don't know.
You can always say, "I read somewhere on the internet."
That was my favorite. That was one of my my first jokes, because I was dating this girl when I first got to New York. I was dating this girl who read like Us Weekly and shit like that. She read garbage, and we were having a conversation, and it was something like, and it used to mean something. When you used to say, "I read that," I think I read that somewhere. It used to mean something, and now it's like. It could have been Wikipedia, which was written by whoever and verified by nobody.
Yeah.
I think I read that somewhere. It has no value in today's
Not
society.
anymore.
It sucks, man. It sucks. Well, now that I'm depressed. So 4 days here, a couple days back. It's weird. It's funny that you don't have a plan, that you don't have it all mapped out to go back.
No, my husband's the planner,
Okay,
so
so
he
you let him
probably
do it.
does have it
Okay,
planned.
okay.
But he doesn't want to tell me the plan because I will alter his ultimate
Okay,
plans.
sure. So he figured it out. He knows that he can wait as late as possible to tell you so that he can keep the plans rocking.
Once we jump in the truck, I'll look at him and I'll be like, So where are we going?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
And you're like, no. We're doing
Don't
something
worry, I got
different.
it all figured out.
I'm
honey.
going to Google right now and have all the information that you took a week to plan. I'm going to fucking change everything right now. Yeah, I let a buddy of mine plan a portion of this last tour that we did in August. And I was like, look, I got a show this day, this Saturday, this Sunday, this Monday for us, and then we get the next week, all shows. Just get me something between here and Missouri, Thursday and Friday. He goes, no problem, Dan. He gets us a show on Friday that's like 4 hours away and 16 hours from Missouri. And I was like, hey, man, that's not going to cut it. Like, we may as well just, that's just 4 hours away. We may as well just do that any other day, any other time. He goes, okay, I got you, no problem. So then he moves the show 4 hours away to Thursday, and then gets another show Friday, and then I find out, I'm like, cool, that sounds awesome. I find out that that while we're on the trip, that the next show was only like 2 hours away, and we're still 15 hours from the Saturday show. So letting another person plan the thing, you got to know that they know what the fuck they're doing
Obviously.
before you let them get involved. Well, I trusted and had the faith in people. That was the problem. Again, and then you find out everybody's full of shit.
Yep.
So that's cool. So what did you guys drive? You said a truck?
Yeah, we have a Silverado.
Okay.
Here, so
Very cool.
yeah, luxury.
Nice.
Luxury ride.
Yeah, what did I do? I went up to hike a mountain here with a friend of mine, and we rented one of these Dodge Hemis. I'm not a truck guy. I've never been a truck guy, but it was the crew cab, so it was like, I mean, the goddamn thing was bigger than my car, and I think it had like 6 true outlets. It had like 3 on my side, 2 in the back, like 1 in the side. Plus, it had like 5 what are they called? 12-volt the lighter plugs.
Yeah.
I was like, this is insane.
And they're hidden everywhere.
Right.
The sales guys, if you open up that and then open up the thing in
Just
there,
open
you're
the
going to
thing.
find 2 more little plugins.
There's 3 glove compartments inside the dashboard, and then there's a whole other thing inside, and then you got your own little lift-up thing. There's a Joe box in the back. You're like, what is happening? I just thought a pickup truck was just a thing you throw shit in the back and you tow shit with.
Oh, yeah.
No, they figured it out.
Yeah, they did.
They figured it out.
God, you can buy them with like 2 or 3 TVs in them now.
Yeah?
Yeah, like you go and it's like, I want a screen in the back of that seat, screen
No
in the back
shit.
of that seat, and
They figured it out. They figured out that pretty much everybody wants to buy a truck and vote for Trump. So you may as well put all the stuff in the things. So so as you're not a citizen.
of the United States.
Right.
I am in the process of becoming one, yes.
But because you were not involved in this last election, what was your take as an outsider? So you have the beauty of not having to take a side because you're an outsider. What was your take on this whole thing as an outsider, viewing all of us morons argue about this whole thing?
That was interesting for me because where I'm from, well, actually in Canada, you don't hear about this shit a lot, right? So everybody is like fired up about all this. So actually Trump became president when I had come down for a visit.
Yeah.
I never went back. I put my papers in. I'm like, I'm not going back because he's not going to let me back in this country.
Oh, okay.
And then as time goes on, I don't even have a favorite. I can't really say anything. I like things from all angles. I look at everything from all angles. And it's like, I can see how you think this, but look at it this way too. And so I say that about a lot of stuff.
And I think that's the problem that we're having now. And I've said this in a lot of different ways on the podcast and in my comedy, is we are in a position now where everybody's just arguing. Yeah. And that's our consistent state of affairs, is just whether you're for this guy or against this guy, or for this person or against this person, we're all just butting our heads together for no reason. I mean, and it's
fighting to fight.
Yeah,
it's
and
not fighting to achieve anything.
Right.
It's just fighting to fight.
Right, and it's like, and I didn't realize this until I was in the car with a buddy of mine, and we were having this discussion, and I'd met this girl at the time who we could have these critical discussions that we didn't solve the problem. We would both end the discussion being like, well, I don't know, and it was about everything. It was about whether or not us, maybe not together, but individually should have kids, about what relationships should look like, about all of this, anything that I think at the time I had some stuff I wanted to talk about how we view obesity, about how we view death. We're having all these discussions, and they would end peacefully. And then I'm in a car with a buddy of mine, and we were talking about language and how language was created and all of this stuff. And then it came to this critical moment where he got really upset because I wasn't changing my opinion, and that's what he thinks arguing is trying to convince the other person to be on his side at the end. And so when you can't achieve that, a lot of people just want to fight the person.
Yeah.
Physically fight them.
Yes.
Which is, I don't understand how we've gotten to that level where.
That's so new, too. Just in 10 years, you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm from. I didn't really see too much on the States, but it just seems over the years, it just gets worse.
I just want to hit people in the face. I don't get it. I don't get where that comes from. I don't get how that's a discussion. I don't get how people go on to. So I go on the dating sites a lot, either to, because I'm single a lot, and also it's just fun. Sometimes I'll troll people on there because I don't care anymore. I used to care, and I used to try to put my best foot forward. But now if somebody says something dumb, I'm gonna take them down. I'm gonna call them out on it, which is not probably good dating site etiquette. But people will write on the dating site things like, well, if you voted for this person.
Yeah, if you voted for Trump, just swipe left.
Swipe left.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I would love to be with someone who had the complete opposite views of myself. It
Thank
makes
you.
Interesting conversation.
Right? Interesting conversation. Maybe you get better as a person, right? I was
learn a few things.
Yeah, you learn a lot. You learn a lot through relationships and having somebody who has different stuff than you. If you date somebody who is passionate about their work, and they're doing something different than you, man, the amount of knowledge you gain about their life and about the world, it's crazy.
I wouldn't be interested in so many things. I do so many things.
Yeah.
But I would never if I didn't know people who did that stuff.
You're right.
It's you got to try it to know if you like it.
Right. And that's the other thing is something about our closed-mindedness as people. It's a human thing to be self-interested, right? And so sometimes something doesn't affect you until it's on your doorstep. This is a weird example, but during Katrina, I was actually seeing this girl who was from New Orleans. So her her family, all of her friends from high school, some of these people were underwater, and so it wasn't just random faces on the news. It was no, it was Brianna's family, and so it changed that whole crisis for me because I was then emotionally invested in it. Yeah. Which I think it's dumb, but I think a lot of us need to get hit on the head with the reality of things by being involved in other things.
That's where I find in Canada, people are very open-minded.
Yeah.
Way more open-minded than here. I have to say that. Not
no,
because
please.
I'm Canadian, but it's they're more apt to sit there and listen to you because they're too busy. Sorry, yeah, they are. Chugging their beer.
Who? The Americans?
They don't want to talk the Canadians.
Oh.
They're yeah, just talk.
Chug.
But yeah, I find they are very much more open-minded.
Yeah.
And depending on if you're in a city or a town, there's so many factors.
Yeah. Well, so that's kind of where we're at as a culture. I haven't been. I was in London back in college, and it was during Bush. And it was interesting to see how foreigners, because I was traveling a bunch in Europe, so it's interesting to see how foreigners approached what we had and what we had elected, and it's interesting because they're getting news from different places, and so their foresight is somehow a lot of times better than ours in that situation, which is I think why we're giving we've given all of our satirical news sources over to other people from other countries. We got South Africa with Trevor Noah. We got John Oliver. So we're letting all of the people from other countries basically tell us how shitty our thing is. It removes us a little bit, and for some reason it feels better to have them say it than have somebody here say it, because then we don't want to have to call our guy a traitor.
Exactly.
It's an interesting perspective that we're amongst. Anyway, off of that, it bums me out every time I get on that topic. So, what do you look most forward to with something like Exotica? You say you meet your people. You said they touch you.
For me, they hug me, but I'm like super shy.
Yeah.
So when somebody comes up, oh, Catherine, and they go to give me a hug,
Yeah.
I freeze up and I look scared. Like
Yeah.
they send the picture and I'm like, God, I look scared. And they're like, yeah, that's what my wife said.
Well, that's good. It's a healthy fear.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't mind. Everybody knows I'm super shy. But
Yeah.
For this one, I want to interact more because usually I hang in the back because I'm shy.
Yeah.
And I'm mostly looking forward to the award show, though.
Yeah, nice. That's the Inked Awards,
Inked
which I'm gonna check out. I was fortunate enough to be invited to that. So, yeah, are you nominated? Are you?
I am. I'm nominated. I can't remember for what. I'm sorry.
Okay, good. I was gonna feel like a dick for not knowing, but you don't know, so then I feel better.
I don't remember. I think there was like 4 or 6. I don't know. And then I'm also a trophy girl.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So you get to present.
I get to talk to a million people. I'm gonna freeze. I know it. I'm gonna puke on stage.
So wait, is this like a teleprompter situation? Do you know?
No,
Like,
you know what?
You
I
just wing
asked
it?
for the papers. I'm like, where's the papers?
Yeah.
From? Like, cause last year we had papers. I was a trophy girl ever
Yeah.
since they went live with the awards for 3 years now. So we had papers. It was so freaking easy. I was like, yes. So I'm like, can I see the papers?
Yeah.
Nope, we're just winging it this year. I'm like, are you fucking kidding
Oh,
me?
you're talking about the script.
Yes,
Yeah.
I want the fucking script.
Yeah, of course, yes.
But
Some
nope.
guidelines, because the thing is, look, you're in the industry. You're supposed to be there. You've been to these things before, but it's always nice to know theoretically what you should be saying.
Exactly, or some kind of like something, you
Right,
know?
right.
'Cause I'm like, wake up in the morning, I'm like, husband, what do I do today? That's how I am.
Yeah.
So he's gonna throw me in front of 200 people,
Yeah.
300 people, and yeah, baby, just wing it.
Yeah,
I'm
because
like,
you don't know. Because you don't know what the person who's running the show has an idea of what kind of should be said now, but you as the person just in it, you maybe don't. Like even as a host, as a comedian, you're like, no, you got like sometimes you'll ask the other comics, you go, what do you want me to say about you? And they'll be like, oh, just say whatever you want. And you're like, no, just give me the things that you think are the accomplishments in your career so that I don't have to think about this on the level, like, and make your intro weird. There's been there's so many situations in comedy shows where the guy, like, the person introducing you will say just like some personal shit about your life, and it just like ends up being awkward. Just like on an
then
award
you get
show.
the look.
Yeah, well, no, sometimes you can get brought on stage with a lack of credibility that actually hurts you and makes you have to work harder because you're in a hole when you get there. So in the same way, in an award show, the audience has some anticipation of what's supposed to happen, but then you're in front of all these people and you freeze up, and it could go. I mean, it could go so off track.
I would just start laughing. Probably that's what I would do. I'd probably stand there and be like, I got nothing, and just start laughing. But it's good because I know, like, a lot of the people that are going to be there, but it's so different one-on-one than in front of, like, the whole freaking all of you. It's like, don't look at me, all of you.
Yeah, I say this all the time, but I have the opposite problem. So because I go on stage in front of lots of people, I am more comfortable in front of lots of people than I am one-on-one. One-on-one, I'm awkward, but in front of a crowd, I'm good. You know, people come up to me and they're like, try to talk to me afterwards. Sometimes I get weird, and they're like, I don't understand. Like you're like, no, like one-on-one. Like when I have to look at and like get a specific reaction, and you know, that's terrifying. It's always been terrifying. Somehow I've blocked out.
I think I'm going to do okay this year.
Yeah.
I think they say wing it. It's like you have no idea what you just did because you have Romy up there.
Yeah.
You have all these girls who just are way out there.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful girls. And it's like, oh, my God. What are they going to do to you, Jason?
Yeah. It's an interesting group. It really is. And I don't I'm still aggressively an outsider to what's going on. I've had the luxury and the credibility to interview 35-ish people in this business, but I still every day realize how little I know about who everybody is, who's important, who I should be trying to reach out to. So this is going to be an interesting weekend to kind of see Because I'm always, and it's the same thing. I'm one-on-one, so I never see the esteem. There's something different about when somebody walks into a room and you see the esteem that the other people in the industry give them. So I'm really interested to see what that looks like.
I think it's interesting how different all our personalities
Sure,
are. Like,
sure.
when I meet girls, like the porn girl, I don't do porn. I did it for a little
Yeah.
bit. I do camming.
Yeah.
But when I meet these girls, like, they're so different. It's just awesome. Because normally when you go somewhere, everybody's kind of the same. And you get kind of bored, blah, blah, blah. There's nothing boring about these girls.
Right.
And if you get bored of one, well, there's another personality
right
sitting
there.
right there, you know?
Yeah, that's how we try to tell comedy audiences. Like, look, if you don't like that particular comedian, look, there's another one coming. There's another one coming. He's going to do something different right behind him. So that's cool. All right.
And I'm also amazed still, after 9 years of doing this, what these girls do when they're not doing porn or camming. Like, the talents are endless with these women. Like,
well, give me an example.
Well, for myself.
Sure.
I'll use me because I know me.
Yeah.
I make bath products. But my thing on cam usually is taking a bath. So it all makes sense. So I started making bath products.
What do you make?
I make bath bombs, bubble bars, lotions, anti-aging oils.
I love seeing these bath bombs on the on the Snapchat. People they'll start the bath and they'll throw the thing and it explodes.
And then it just slowly. I like the ones that you throw in.
Yeah.
And they bubble up.
Yeah. So what? I don't understand what is in there.
SLSA. That is what makes you get this.
SLSA? What is that?
No, citric acid and SLSA.
Okay, interesting.
And baking soda and cornstarch. That's
okay,
it. That's
really?
all that's in a bath.
Yeah. So the cornstarch is to
harden it, probably.
Cornstarch is just to make the ball be a ball.
That's what I'm guessing, because cornstarch does that.
But cornstarch is good for your skin.
Very good for your skin.
And baking soda is good for everything.
Everything. And then your oils, essential oils, and some fragrance if you want. Some people can't use fragrance, and color.
Interesting. Color for fun.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. Okay. And then I also do makeup.
Okay.
I do hair.
Nice.
Do nails.
Nice.
I'm super crafty. I make Christmas decorations.
Oh, very cool. It's coming to be your season.
Yes. I'm so excited.
What were you going to say?
And I forget what I was
It's
gonna
just
say.
anything. You're talking about how crafty.
Everything I do, I get to do it at work. So I'm camming and I'm interacting with
that's
people,
funny.
and they get to see everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. That is an interesting. So I dated a cam girl for a little bit, and I found it very well. She was an aerialist, and like that was kind of like so because I didn't know anything about really what the industry was. You know, it's like what I find is that we all have this like impression in our minds about who these people would be, and it's very different in reality.
Yes.
And so she was an aerialist, and so very artsy kind of thing that she was always trying to do. And I found that the thing that she was doing that was most successful, she would just sit down fully clothed and just chat with people.
I'm telling you, that I have more success with sitting there having the gift to gab than sitting there fingering myself with some dude. Like a guy will sit there for 2 hours and listen to me yip.
Right.
But the minute I dip my fingers in there and he runs away, it's like he didn't even want me to do that.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting thing. And then I have some other friends that are now getting heavily involved in Twitch, and they'll just go on and they'll play video games, and they put them in the corner and they just talk to the fan base, and they get this crazy fan base. It's a weird. We've become a very strange society of people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's much different than I would have thought. And it's like, and it actually speaks a little bit to humanity, that everybody still wants that emotional connection, and something more deep than physical. It's just there's something cool about that.
I think it's cool that guys have a weight. Guys are so shy.
Yeah.
You think that they have all this confidence and stuff, but you can take the most confident man.
Yeah.
And you can find that he is just scared.
Yeah.
Shy.
Well, there's something about, and I don't want to speak to this as if I'm the authority on confident men, but there's something in all of us where, we put a little bit of the bravado out there, but then it's like sometimes we'll meet somebody and especially when it comes to women and men interacting, and the person will just terrify us.
Yes.
And it's like, and because we like desire that person so much, it makes us so vulnerable because the rejection is possible. Yeah, and it's
cute when a guy's vulnerable.
It's the scariest thing.
Yes.
Because it's like, and because the weird thing is, it's like, sometimes in life we just take what is given to us, right? And I think we've done that in relationships, a lot of us, right? So whoever's into us, that's easy. You just, oh yeah, you're into me, sure. Of course I'm gonna hook up with you. That I don't have to do any work, whatever. But then to find a person that you just desire on a crazy level, and you just want them to be in your life in all of these ways, to have to do all the things and be perfect.
I think it's that
crazy.
Anonymously for them to be able to come and talk to you, to be vulnerable with you, because they know that you don't know who they are.
Right.
It's so amazing. Like, guys are actually pretty cool. I learned that guys are pretty cool.
Yeah, we're not all bad. When it is interesting. Yeah, it's interesting that. So you're talking screen names and a little bit of anonymity.
Yeah.
But so you, like, in your head, you think that anonymity will make somebody a monster, but sometimes it actually is the opposite, because there's no expectation to be anything, so you can actually just be.
I've had guys sit there for up to 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I don't kick guys out of my room. There's a reason these guys are in your room, whether they spend money or not. There's a reason they're there. And it'll take them a year or two even to say hi.
Wow.
You can't see them, and they'll be like, hi. And it's like, wow, I've seen you in my room for 2 years, and you finally said hi.
And
they feel so special at that moment.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, but it's awesome that they have that outlet now.
Yeah. Well, shit. Well, now, I'm extra excited now to walk around Exotica and kind of see. I don't know. I'm like a big people watcher, so it'll be interesting to see the types of personalities walking around and how people approach you girls and guys. So I'm excited.
Honestly, I never have like a big lineup to come and say hi to me, because I think that's the difference with camming and porn too.
It's because they already have the interaction.
Guys will walk by, but these guys want to remain anonymous. They
Right,
don't want to
right,
come up. So they'll
right.
come and walk by, and you could have like 100 guys walk by you that can see you all the time.
Yeah.
They won't say a word to you there until you're back on
And
cam.
they're like, I saw you at the thing. Right.
You were doing this, and it's
oh
like,
my God, that's so funny. No, I love that. I think I had a tweet about this idea that like guys sometimes will see a girl. Oh no, I think somebody wrote on Twitter, they were like, it was something about them being in public or whatever, and like, what would you do if you saw me in public doing this, that, and the other thing? And I wrote back, and I was like, I would wait until I got home, and then I would DM you and be like, yo, was that you at the coffee shop? Because there's just something about the lack of rejection to go back and go, I was right there, and you're like, what the fuck? Why didn't you say hi?
It used to bug me. Like all these porn girls getting all these lineups, and I was the only cam girl at the time. Because camming's just becoming popular.
Oh, you're like OG cammer.
Oh, yeah. So I'd sit there, and I would be, like, all butthurt. I'm like, why is nobody coming to say hi to me? But then when you really sit and think about it, this is where you have to think from both sides, right? And it's like, well, of course they're not going to. They couldn't say hi to me for 2 fucking years on a computer.
Right,
so.
Right. They're not just going to be like, hi, you look so good.
Catherine, I beat off to you every day. You empty my wallet every day.
Yeah, there's a weird, and that's the other thing is like, there's a weird, there's a weirdness to the whole thing because it's the thing we do behind closed doors, and it's the thing that we do with ourselves. And that's the thing that I think is missing from relationships a lot of times is like, we don't know what kind of people our partners were with before us, and we don't talk about it because we're not comfortable with it. We don't know what kind of porn our partners look at and that kind of thing. And so it's like a piece of us that we never share with another person. And
but you can with a camera.
And it's so private. Yeah.
I think it's awesome. Like,
well, you can at home behind a computer, but then when you get in the room and it's like, it's like.
I have had guys think that I was going to come meet them, sleep with them, do sexual acts with them, let them jerk off on my feet. You name it. I've heard it. But in real life, I'm super shy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. I'm not like that. I'm like, hey, like, because I'm just as shy too. I'm like, all these dudes have seen me give a blowjob, man.
Yeah, but there's still there's that, and that's that. I don't know that's the big difference between, especially in my business where everything that you say and do is to a room of people, so you can always hear what the reaction is, and you're behind closed doors, and so you get to live that kind of thing. So a lot of times when comedians try to do like sketches and things like that, and they're on camera with somebody who's supposed to be the straight man, so like they say something funny and you just don't react to it, then they get uncomfortable because they're not used to having that lack of reaction.
Yes, I understand.
So you guys, so you always have that lack of reaction. So it's just sort of like the world you hover in. So then it's like now you get the other side, which is the like, whoa, I fucking, you're great. I remember. Yeah.
The biggest thing that I think that the problem is at Exotica is they think they can touch you.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is weird and it causes trouble.
Yeah.
And so I suggest just stay back if you go.
Yeah, don't touch anybody.
Don't touch
anybody.
The only pet peeve I
That's
have.
getting into Exotica. That's just in life.
General.
Just don't touch people.
You
can't just go touch people. What do you know?
I whenever I get recognized in town, they're so respectful. They don't come up to me.
Yeah.
They leave me and my family alone, but
Nice.
they'll come later and be like, "Oh, I seen you at Walmart today, but you had your kid with you." So it's like, thank you.
Now I thought you're supposed to like block out zip codes that are nearby you. Okay, interesting.
No, I don't block anything.
Interesting.
Yeah. When I went into this business, the first person I told was my kid's dad, who we were not together. He laughed at me.
Yeah.
And then after that, it was easy telling everybody else.
Yeah.
So I just never blocked anybody.
Nice. Well, I always just thought it was like maybe like a little bit of a safety thing.
You can.
But
so if you're a girl who wants to be on cam and doesn't want like Canada to know you're on cam, you can block out Canada or your town. Or
I think it was more like that. Yeah, that surrounding area. But it never made sense to me because the girl I was seeing was in New York City area, and it's like and she blocked that whole area, and it's like you're like the amount of people now that you're cutting out.
Those people out, like that's millions
as your audience is like that's great. Like I get it. You live in South Dakota, sure. You live right by Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Then fine. Billingsworth, Montana. Was it Billings, Montana?
I did stay in Billings.
You block that shit out. That's fine. I get it. You don't want the people at the coffee shop watching your stuff maybe because you get to live a little bit.
Do you know how creepy that is for me? Everywhere I go, I'm looking around. I can't look at anybody like that. They're just whatever. You're like, does that guy come see me?
Right.
I don't even want to go back to my car, so he doesn't know what I drive.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's scary. Now I don't have any of this level thing. Number one, I'm a dude. Number two, I'm not famous in any way. But there's I run the Hoboken Comedy Festival, so there's 1 week where most of Hoboken comes and sees the festival, and I intro the shows or I do spots on the shows. So every once in a while, there's that thing where I'm leaving where like the next 2 weeks out in Hoboken, I'm walking by and people are outside. And they're like, "Oh, it's the guy from the thing." Yeah. But that's the only time I ever even assume that anybody has ever seen me ever in life. Mm-hmm. So it's just that is a weird feeling.
It is a weird feeling, especially when they've seen you naked, like they've seen you the most intimate part of you. Right.
Well, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I talk about my dick. The intimate part of me. Well, this is great. Listen, let's plug whatever you have to plug. What do you? How do they follow you? If you want them to follow you on anything,
Google Catherine Tayler, but use an E, not an O.
Tayler.
Yes.
Catherine Tayler. What's your?
I got CatherineTaylor.com.
What's your Twitter?
My Twitter is Catherine Rocks.
Catherine Rocks.
Catherine RAWKS.
RAWKX.
Yeah.
S. RAWKS. Sorry.
Yeah, Catherine Rocks. Instagram is Catherine.Taylor. My Snapchat. Now that is my baby.
Okay. Oh, you love Snapchat.
Oh,
we should have talked about this from the start.
Oh my God. I didn't like it until like 8 months ago.
Yeah.
My husband was on it and he's doing it. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You're always on your fucking phone.
You're always
he
on.
Goes,
yeah.
You have to with this.
Snapchat.
I'm like, I don't want to do it. That's
Yeah.
why I got on and I was like, what do I do? So I did a few. I'm like, whatever. Fuck, I haven't put my phone down since.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
My whole entire life is broadcast on Snapchat.
Yeah, I will, and it's interesting because I'm trying to figure out what the barriers are, right? So I'll watch Jeopardy and I'll do the thing, and with comedy you try to like at least in some level like you expect that and hope that you're gonna get some notoriety at some point. So you got to figure out what the barriers are with your personal life and your stage life, right? There needs to be a little bit of something to keep you sane. But I think I've been crossing the barrier. So now I have people across the country that have come to shows that I may or may not know that know my dog.
Yeah.
Because my dog is always on my thing, and people are like messaging me and they're talking about Tess, and they know her name, and it's like it's a weird thing to have out there. But of course, she's the best part of me. It's such a great thing to
I think it's
to have
nice
people know.
that if someone likes you,
Yeah.
they can see a little bit into your
Yeah.
world, you know? Like you said, you don't know how somebody is just by really looking at them, you
Right,
know?
right.
So it's nice, especially in my job, that guys can sit there and watch you ahead of time
Yeah.
and decide, is this the girl I want to go see? Because really, you're a girlfriend to some people.
Right.
So,
right,
yeah,
right.
so I give that out. And that, my Snapchat is different because I keep getting shut down because I'm a bad girl. But
Oh, the Snapchat's trying to
they
dump
have,
people? They block people?
they have close 2 of my accounts now.
No
so my
shit.
Catherine Taylor's gone.
Well,
my
so
Catherine Rocks is gone. So it's now Kitty's Cam Models.
Kitty's cam model. So here's the question, and this actually goes into the privacy of the whole thing. I think we all Snapchat thinking that nobody other than the people that we send it to is watching. If you're getting shut down, then that means there's a site monitor
Somebody
like, watching
me. Yeah.
and like jerking off to
Oh,
like
yeah.
whatever.
He's probably fucking shooting his load the minute he's making that call because
Yeah.
that's his thing. It's
Right.
a fetish.
Right. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. You got to report it.
He's
What?
like, oh, Catherine Taylor. Like, no.
Yeah, and I heard. Yeah, I guess you can report them. That's what I heard. Was people
Yeah.
was sometimes it's like, you know, just if you pay, like somebody was complaining to me about how they had the private Snapchat. Somebody paid for it, and then they reported them. You pay for this content.
Yeah, somebody's girl
And then you didn't like.
competition
Yeah.
will do that to
Yeah,
you.
that's crazy.
It is so competitive. It's not even funny. But, you know, you just keep on trucking.
Yeah.
You just like, ah.
So more. So sorry. So Kitty. What is it?
Kitty's Cam Models.
Kitty's cam
So
models.
it's KITTYSCAMMODELS.
Okay.
Like that.
I'm not. I can't ever keep the spelling. I was not good at spelling bees. I'm a good speller, but I can't keep the spelling in my head when it's happening. That was impressive.
On they're all together. Like
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I post on one thing,
Sure,
it'll
yeah,
go
yeah.
everywhere. So
Oh, that's great.
if you follow the other stuff, you will find.
You'll find it. Cool.
You will never lose me. Trust me.
So CatherineTaylor.com is the best way to find you for your camming.
That's for my XX stuff. My
Okay.
9 years of content
Yeah.
is all on my baby site.
And then when you're camming, where do you want them to find you?
I'm at CatherineTaylor.cammodels.com.
Got it. CatherineTaylor.cammodels.com. Thank you so much for being a guest. This has been fun, enlightening, and enjoyable. This is the Porn Stars of People podcast. We're on iTunes. We're on Google Play. We're on Stitcher. A couple of the other apps. Wherever you found us, we're also on The Other Thing. Check us out. We got some YouTube content from today. Very fun. We're going to try to give you as much fun content and great guests as we can. I'll do what I can this weekend through Exotica Guys and the Inked Awards to try and interview some amazing people. Thank you for listening. Everybody be safe out there.